Okay, so our directions are going to say solve. Same directions we've been seeing all along. Now again, that means we also need to show all steps. So I'm going to show you from a formula, see if you guys remember what this one is. And this is how you're going to see the problem presented. So solve C equals 2 pi r for r. What's that a formula for? No?
Circumference of a circle.
Circumference of a circle. Okay, so circumference equals 2 pi r, and what does r stand for in that formula? Radius. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. The variable we need to get alone is the r. Okay. Now, is he on the side we want him to be on? No. So what can we do to get him on the side we want him to be on? Rachel Lee?
Subtract r.
No. What math is going on with that r right now? Yeah, so I can't do subtraction to undo that. But there's actually an easier way of getting r to be on the correct side. Okay, Taylor?
Can't you just flip it?
Yeah, and what's flipping the equation called? It's a property. You're on the track. Keep going. Symmetric property. Symmetric property. Okay? All right. So then we look at our r and we ask what's happening to the r? What math is going on to the r? It's being multiplied. And what is it being multiplied by? 2 pi. So the opposite of multiplying, the inverse of multiplying is? So we're going to divide both sides by 2 pi. And our answer is the variable we're looking for, r, is equal to c over 2 pi. And that's it. That's all you need to do. You're not solving for anything. You're just setting up the problem. Okay? Now the next problem is a little longer, and the reason why I put it on here is because you will see it on your homework, and I do like this question because it involves multiple steps and good understanding, so it likes to show up on a test. It won't be identical to what you already have seen, so there will be some changes. So we're going to talk about the formula for averaging. Can somebody tell me how you would figure out the average of a group of numbers? James?
Well, you add all those numbers up.
Okay.
And then you take the sum and divide it by how many numbers there are.
Okay, good. It's never an easy thing to say. You add up all the numbers they gave you, you divide it by how many numbers you added together. Okay, and that gives you the mathematical average. Oops. So a formula for, sometimes I have to write my numbers backwards because I have this little wrist guard and it keeps popping down and prevents me from writing. So that's why I will draw my numbers and letters up, from the down upwards, which is completely, my daughter's kindergarten teacher would be very angry to see this. But that's the reason why I have to do that. A formula for the average, A, so capital A represents average, of 4 numbers and then those 4 numbers are going to be represented by A, little b, little c, and little d, is, and then they're going to give us that formula. A equals A plus B plus C plus D all over 4. Okay, now the directions say solve for little c. Okay, solve for little c. She needs you now. So let's see what we got here. We've got big A equals little a plus little b plus our goal variable, little c, plus our little d divided by 4. Okay, Ethan, it says immediately. That means you need to go now. Okay. So what would be the first step in trying to get the red little c alone? Okay, we've got some options here. Okay, I get my 3 little people that always want to answer me, which I really appreciate, but I need other people to give me a response. Jason, what's something that we could do first?
Multiply 4.
Multiply.
Everything by 4.
Okay, when you say everything, what are you telling me to multiply by 4?
The variables.
Okay, so let me ask you, if I multiply both sides by 4, does that mean I multiplied the little a, the little b, the little c, and the little d by 4?
Yeah.
Okay, is that true? Everybody? Okay. Remember, what's the point of multiplying by that 4?
Multiply everything but the c.
You want to get
Away fraction.
the fraction to go away. That's the whole point to multiplying by the 4. So when I multiply by 4, I think she just wants you. Yeah, you don't need to take everything. You can come back and get your stuff. What this does is it allows the 4's to cancel out. So this is what you have right now. 4a equals little a plus little b plus the letter we want to get alone, little c, plus little d. Okay? What do we need to do to get the little c alone? And remember, where is he supposed to be, by the way? He's supposed to be on the left. So keep that in mind when you're giving me some thoughts. Aaron?
Flip it.
Okay, so what does that mean? Tell me flip.
The symmetric property goes a plus b plus c plus d equals 4a.
Okay, good. Because remember how we used the word flip, and that for some reason always means reciprocal, so I was a little worried there. So, okay, good. Thank you for clarifying. That makes more sense. So we're going to switch sides. And remember, there is a difference between the little a and the big A. They represent different things, so we have to keep them that way. Okay, so is little c alone?
No.
Okay, so what are we going to do to get little c alone at this point? Okay, Nicole.
You would need to move the other variables.
So how would I do that?
You would subtract them.
Okay, so which variables am I going to subtract from both sides?
You would subtract the A,
The little a,
and the little B,
and the little b,
and then the little D.
and the little d. Okay, so I'm going to do this, this, this. And we get our key variable c alone equals the 4 times the big A minus the little a minus the little b minus the little d. Have I met my goal?
Yes.
Did I solve for the little guy? Little c guy? Oh, we did. So we've got an answer. Now, I could take this and go one step further. What do you notice that little a, little b, little d have in common?
All negatives.
They all have negatives. So is it possible to factor out a negative?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Alexis. Yeah. And what would I have left over if I factored out a little negative? I mean, a negative from all the little guys. I'd have an A
Plus b.
plus a B
Plus D.
plus a D. So that's a second possibility for doing that problem. And what you could have done here is you could have subtracted that quantity from both sides. So that's an option for you.
If you don't factor it by a negative, like on a test, would it be considered wrong?
Okay, that word or
Oh.
says both answers are good. So I'm just showing you options because some kids want to take care of, instead of taking things one at a time, they could take care of a group.
Okay.
Okay, so some people just think that way, so I just wanted to point that out. All right, we've got one more.
Little 3.
Number 3. Solve P equals 2L plus 35 for L. All right, what's that formula of? Okay, Rachel Lee? Never mind. Nope, that's not that formula. Andy?
Perimeter
Of?
of a rectangle.
It's a perimeter of a rectangle. Now, why is that? Does that look different from what we're used to seeing the perimeter formula?
Because they substituted in for the
Is it just width they substituted in for?
Yes.
Kind of, Melanie.
You substituted for 2 widths.
Remember the formula is 2 lengths plus 2 widths, so that 35 represents the 2 widths. They already kind of took care of that. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can figure this one out. And so the guy we want to get alone is the L. Okay, so what would be a good first step in getting the red L all alone? Kyle.
Use the symmetric property,
Okay,
flip it around.
I like that idea. Get the variable on the side that he belongs. Okay, next, Ryan.
You can subtract 35,
Okay, and the key is to subtract it from
both sides.
both sides. Good. So now I get 2 times the L is equal to, can I actually subtract 35 from P?
No.
Yeah, because I don't know what the P is, so I just write P minus 35. It has to go in that order, positive in front, negative in the back. All right, have I finished everything I need to do yet? Okay, what do I need to do now? The opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. So I get L equal to P minus 35, all divided by 2. Okay? Now, that's our answer, but let me give you a scenario and ask you how you would handle it. What if you got to this point? Would it be okay to simplify and say that, that answer was P minus 17?
No.
Okay. I heard no. Very, very quickly. Why? No, that's good. I'm glad that it was a recognizable thing. Maddie, why would that not be an acceptable answer?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, you better know. What did that person do to get P minus 17? What did they divide by 2?
You did 34.
All they did is this. Is that fair? No, that's not fair. By the word, you want to talk about F word in math? It's the word fair. If you don't treat things fairly, then you get yourself into trouble with getting wrong answers. You need to treat everything the same. So if you're going to divide 34 by 2, you got to divide P by 2. Now, would that be necessary to do? No. All right, so that's why we don't do that. Let's ask this question. What if we had L equals 2P minus 34 over 2? Would it be okay to say L equals P minus 17 in this case? Okay, and the answer is yes. Oops. And the reason is because you did 2P over 2 minus 34 over 2, and you treated each of those pieces the same. That's okay, all right? Now, that's not the case in our question. We just have L equals P minus 35 over 2. Now, notice that all of my answers are equations because all of my starting formulas are equations. So I still get an equation. This time I just get a different variable in the left-hand spot. All right?